So, hi everyone. I'm very pleased to inform you that our organization is starting an interview series. This interview series is very special as we are going to meet some bright tutorpreneurs who have made it very big in this tutoring field. So, we will be hosting some very good and hardworking tutorpreneurs. Now, currently, we are focused on the Bangalore city. So, today we have my mentor, Mr. Ashap Chaturvedi sir, who has always been there whenever I needed him. And he's a very knowledgeable, very kind hearted person, and he will be there when you need it. So let's
Thank you so
start
much.
the question. So I would like Mr. Ashap sir, will you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Vivek, for inviting me for this interview. My name is Arshab Chaturvedi. I was born in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. Then my first 5 years of schooling was in Madhya Pradesh. Then my father was with the Indian Telecom Services, so I had the opportunity of going to South Africa. So for 5 years, I was studying in South Africa in the Cambridge system, IGCSE. Then I came back to India, did 2 years, class sixth and seventh in India. Then again, my father got a posting in Egypt. So there, for 1 year, I was with the American International School. So studied in the US system as well. And there I got a direct promotion from 7th to ninth. Then after 1 year came back, 10th, 11th, 12th, I basically did from India. So I've studied in the Cambridge system, American system, and the Indian system. In class 12th, I was preparing for IIT. So I cracked the exam. I was the All India Maths topper. Then I did my computer science engineering from Triple IT Allahabad. Then I was placed in Nomura Services, which is Asia's largest investment bank. So I was working for 2 years as an investment banker in Mumbai. And then in 2014, I basically decided to start a venture of my own. So in 2014, I shifted to Bangalore. And ever since then, I've been working on my own company, that is Arshib Academy. So close to 7 years now this year.
Oh, that's a very brief introduction, sir. Very nice to hear about you. So, can you please tell us how did you start your journey and like where have you reached till now in your tutoring journey?
So basically, 2014 is when I started here. So the first 3 years, 2014 to 2017, I focused only on research and creating the content. So at that time, my aim was from classes 6 to 10th. So I basically did a very thorough research, not just about CBSE, but about all the boards in India. What is the content like? What is the difficulty of questions? What is the student journey like? Where they get stuck? Right? What are the different concepts? What stage they are taught? Then I went through hundreds of books that are available in the market. Pretty much every book that is there, I've read. So the idea was to create the best educational content in such a way that it is a one-stop place for a student. So you don't have to go for video somewhere, for textbook somewhere, for reference book somewhere, for question bank somewhere, right? The whole idea is create content in such a way that it is extremely easy for the child. Now, the one place which I've concentrated the most are my videos, because I feel uh, while most of the platforms that are out there on the internet, a lot of theory material is there, but video content is very, very less, right? So my main objective was create as many videos as possible, right? Just to give you an idea, typically for one class, we have close to 1,000 to 1,200 videos. That is
Oh
just for
my
one
God.
subject,
Okay.
right? So the idea is that every concept, right? I start right at the most basic level, excuse me. So every concept, we start at the most basic level, slowly and steadily we increase the level of the child, bring them to the school level, and then after that we take them to the advanced level, that is your Olympiad level or competitive level. So the idea is have so many videos that when you go from one video to the other, it is very, very smooth for the child. There should not be a drastic jump. And at the same time, keep giving them ample practice questions so that they also get the confidence that yes, we have learned how to do it. Right. So typically that is what the first 3 years I focused on. Then I started creating the content. 2017, when I had maths content from basic classes 6 to 10th, a bit of it, that is when I started the academy. I started inviting kids to come. This was also one of a kind academy where we kept tabs for every children. They would come, every tab had a name of the kid. They would pick up their tab and whatever they wanted to learn, they could learn. Right. So for example, we have kids from 5 different schools. Now in each school, a different topic is going on. Right. But here, there was never a synchronization problem because they could come, the entire content was there, they could pick whatever they wanted to learn, they could learn it as many times as they want, they could learn it at their own pace. So that is when it started. So and then of course content creation is an ever going process. Even now, today morning also I was creating content. So content is the key, right? What I believe is the more videos you give the child, the more you explain to the child. So a lot of research goes into how to make the video, and then the videos are very thoroughly tested, not just by students but even by teachers, experts, subject matter experts. It's a very rigorous testing process. That is when the video is finally deployed on the tab. So that is what I spend my majority energy and time in, right? And started with a handful of students, and today of course pretty good,
Yeah.
right? Not just in North Bangalore, but name thanks to Zoom now, we have kids logging in from all parts of India. We have kids logging in from Dubai, from the Gulf, from Singapore, from London. So yeah, going pretty well now
Yeah, we
from
can
where we
say
started.
that the internet boom for education came in the COVID time, but it really expanded the teaching business or tutoring business.
Absolutely, because there were a lot of people actually, even in Bangalore, who had heard about me and who really wanted to learn from me, but due to logistics, it was very difficult for them to travel. And that is why when I went online last year on Zoom, so many people enrolled, and they were so happy, with the way we were teaching them. So yeah, it's been very nice.
Yes. So how is your model different from the, like we say, the unicorns right now, like Baiju, An Academy, Vedantu?
So, like I said, the content which we provide, both the quantity and the quality, right? So, just to give you a perspective, there is, even if you combine all the Unicorns content, right, you will never get 1,000 videos per class, right? You will never get it. So, the idea is not just that we are flooding the kids with videos. It's not that. The idea is of mine is that make sure provide the child with every that question that is out there, every type of question that is out there, we solve for the child, right? And give them ample practice so they have a very very thorough grip, right? Typically what happens in other platforms, or for that matter offline academies, is the concept is taught, 3 4 questions are done, and then they're given a worksheet of 50 odd questions that you please go and try. The kid tries it, struggles through the solution, then you have to wait for a teacher to clarify it out. Here what happens is we solve everything for you, while you have the option of solving it on your own, but we do provide you a solution for everything and a video solution. So at any point of time, if you get stuck, you can just have it. So the experience which a child gets is that, imagine if I'm available with the child 24 by 7. They can come and ask me anything, right? It is the same experience. So the quantity of content that we have, right, is amazing. Like I said, every book that is out there, we have researched. We have put a lot of effort in trying to provide the best content out there. So typically, that is why from all my students, you'll hear that everything that in the exam came for us was taught by sir. So never has it happened, right from night is from class 6 to class 12. Never has it happened that a child has come back and said, sir, in a test, a question came which you didn't teach. So pretty much we cover each and everything that is out there, right? Second, of course, is the quality. Like I said, for every video, lot of research goes, because we assume that a video is being watched by a million kids across the world. Now you have different types of children. Some kids may be very motivated in math, some may not like it, some may be scared of it. The idea is when you show them a video, they should be extremely comfortable. There should be no doubts. Any possible doubt that can come is ensured is solved in the video, because it is a monologue, right? I mean, when a kid is streaming a video, typically we assume that we are not there. That's the whole point of my system, that it is a system on its own, right? You do not need any human intervention. So anything, any doubt that can come, any past concepts. Of example, if you're teaching class 10th, there are a lot of concepts of previous classes which you need, right? Even those concepts are taught in that video. So it's not that if you're teaching a class 10 concept, we assume you know everything till class 10th, which is a general assumption everywhere, right? I mean, if a kid is in class 10th, you know that till class 10th, you know Pythagoras, you know geometry. No, we don't assume that, right? In every video of ours, we assume that, all right, what? Maybe you're fresh, maybe you've forgotten it, right? And that is why we even had kids of class 7th and 8th watch our class 9th, 10th videos and still understand it. So that is the amount of research and that is the amount of effort we put, that every child that is out there, no matter how good you are in maths or science, or if you're scared of it, watch our video, you will be extremely comfortable, right? And in case you have doubts, we provide them with ample study material, ample theory, ample practice. So typically a lot of any doubts. So that is where we are different from the others. The kind of support we provide to all our children, we ensure every student who enrolls with us, we have a one-on-one discussion with them periodically, with the parents. We keep guiding the child, right? Okay, these are your strengths, these are your weakness, this is how you have to work on them. We keep on providing them psychological motivation as well. Like recently in COVID times, they under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, they were at home constantly. We were in touch with all our students, all our parents, guiding them, right? And also we try to make the classes very fun, have a lot of jokes. We discuss, not just academics, but we try to give a lot of real world examples related to Netflix, related to latest movies, related to sports. So the idea is that's when the child starts to enjoy, because that is when they can apply the things, right? So that is where we are very different from the others, the kind of content, the kind of support we provide to, and of course the results which we provide, right? I mean, if you look back at all our results for the past 5 6 years, every child that has joined us has improved, and there has not been a single case of a child leaving us in the past 6 years. Children typically join us in 7th and 8th, and right till class 12th, they are with us. And we have had so many kids who took maths and science in 11th and 12th because of us. They got so happy, so motivated. They said, "No, no, no, maths and science is something, we want to do it." So, yeah, the results, the content, the study material which we provide, the worksheets which we provide, very specially curated, right? The idea is not to flood the kid with a lot of material, precisely made, not too much, not too less, perfectly balanced, right? So you can enjoy studying, it does not become a burden on you, and you're extremely comfortable given any difficulty of exam. You could be giving a school exam, you could be giving an Olympiad exam, or for that matter, you can give a competitive exam, right? All our children are trained in such a way that they're extremely comfortable in all the exams.
So, what was you thinking when you entered this teaching field? Because as you told that you have been through many domains of work. So, what actually was your motivation to come to this teaching and tutoring field?
So it all started when I was in, class ninth and 10th. I always loved, helping my fellow students, clarifying their doubts. And often I would, the teacher would ask me, "You want to teach a concept?" I'll be the first one. So teaching is something I loved. When I was in my college, basically our college had adopted a school for the underprivileged kids. So I would regularly go over there and teach them. Then, when I was in my third year, basically, I did my specialization in artificial intelligence and natural language processing. So, my project was to create a algorithm and a software which could automatically check subjective answers. So typically, let's say, you're asked to write an essay, right? Now, how the system works is the teacher gives an ideal answer and the student gives an answer. How do you match it at a conceptual level, right? So you might have said cars, you could said vehicles. It's means the same thing, So I made that, right. Then I further enhanced it in the next 2 years, and finally, for my final project, I actually made a question answering system wherein you could input all the data. And now today, of course, you have Siri and all these things. So back then I made it that you could ask the software any question and the software would reply to you. So to test those systems, I basically visited a couple of schools. So when I visited those schools and did the demo of the systems, they were really happy that that is something which made the job of teachers very easy. So when I interacted with teachers and students and the school management, I realized that somewhere there were a lot of gaps. I mean, students were not happy. They felt that many times teachers are changed, they rush with the syllabus, ample resources are not given. So definitely, I felt somewhere a need was there. Then when I was working in Mumbai, all my team members were very senior to me. They also often would complain about their children's school or tuitions. So one thing which came across very clearly to me was, one, people were spending a lot of money on education, but they were not satisfied, and the children were not performing, because of which they became more and more averse to studying. So that is when I decided that, what, let me try to create a system where I provide the best possible content that is out there at a very affordable price, right? So the idea is not just to provide really good content. Of course, if you provide really good content, it comes at a price, right? The idea is to provide it at such a nominal price. So the vision of my company is we want to reach out to every child, not just in India, but across the world, and provide them the best education that exists, the best content, a one-stop place. I mean, we don't say, okay, buy our system, then buy this book, then buy that. No, no, no. We just take our system, anything and everything that you need, right from the video content to the theory material, right to test papers, to practice questions, to worksheets. Everything will provide you, and at such a low price that anyone can afford it. Literally anyone can afford it. So that is the whole idea. I mean, I want to bring it cheaper than Netflix.
Oh,
The idea is that bring it at such a nominal cost that anyone can afford it, right? Because I believe education is the key to success. If imagine a scenario where this content reaches out to every child in India. Now, if every child in India is well educated, right, automatically a lot of problems like poverty, illiteracy, unemployment automatically get solved, right? But of
yes,
course, it's a vicious circle. In case you have very good education, it does exist out there, but it's very expensive. So majority people are not able to afford it, because of which they're stuck in that circle, right? So the idea
yes.
is to break that circle. You need two things. One is providing extremely good content at a very affordable price. So that is what the vision of the company is, and that is what I decided, that this is something I want to dedicate my life to, right? I remember speaking with my class 6 maths teacher when I started the system. So she said that even if you can change the life of one child, it's a big deal, you know. So my idea is to change the life of billions of kids across the world, right? That every child, I believe, has the right to the best, not just right to education, right to the best possible education, right? See, just teaching a kid random stuff is not good. If you look at this STEM report of India, it's very bad, right? Even class 4, class 5 kids can't do basic math or basic reading. Now, it is not their fault. Have they been provided with the right education content, right teachers, right infra? No. Even if you go to majority parts of India, right, schools have very poor infrastructure. Teachers half the time are not there. They're not qualified. They're not motivated, right? So it's not the fault of the child. Many times you've come across children who did not like maths and science. And when I sat with them and understood, see, in the beginning, every child is very curious. They love to learn. You go to a kindergarten, right? You'll see a lot of energy in the class, a lot of love for learning. But what happens is, as they grow old, right? Class 2, class 3, when slowly we start introducing them to concepts. If it is taught in the right way, they would always love to learn. I've never seen a child, right, whom we have taught over here and said, okay, now I don't like learning. The idea is, if you teach them in a nice way, they will always fall in love with learning and they will always perform. So that is what the idea of my company is, to provide the best content to each and every child out there at a very affordable price. So that
Your
is
vision, your vision actually is very noble, sir, and you have taken it as a mission to change the lives of many billions of kids. We can say that it's actually a very very noble thought, because we actually find people blaming the government, blaming other people, like this is not good, that is not okay. So whenever I meet some student or some parent saying like that, this is not good, my before school was not good teacher, then I just ask them question, okay, what now, what are you going to do about it right now? So this noble thought which you are having is literally going to change many lives in the coming time. I can assure everyone of that.
fingers crossed.
And yeah, it will be for sure. I just had one question, sir. The system which you developed for the question and answer and checking it, evaluating it, is this the same system they use in the softwares like Doubtnut? There are two, three more. I am
No,
not getting them.
no. So basically, the system which we developed, it is basically based on a statistical algorithm called PLSA, Probability Latent Semantic Analysis. It is actually language independent. So how it works is, you basically provide. So let's say we ask the kid to write a essay. Let's say on Mahatma Gandhi, right? Now, typically, how does a teacher evaluate? So in the answer key, you have certain points which you expect the child to write, right? So the teacher gives an ideal answer These are the points I expect. And then the student submits an answer, right? Now they are checked not on a word by word basis, but on a conceptual level, right? So you could have, Mahatma Gandhi's early life. The teacher could have written using different words. The child could have written using different words. But the idea is that the computer algorithm, that is where AI comes into picture. It is able to understand the thought process, and where the child is going, and that is how it matches. So based on that, you get a score. So this algorithm actually does not exist, and that is why I published a research paper on it. So this paper has actually been published, right, in a Dubai journal. So this algorithms typically are used by your international examinations, like your GRE GMAT, where they have a essay writing and all that. At that level, it is where it is used. So in fact, I even wrote a mail to, you know, uh, Princeton Review that in case you are interested, you can use my algorithm, not a problem. So it has always been in me, that always use education for solving a problem, right? Money was never my target in life, right? It was always about solving a problem for the, a better social cause. So yeah, doubt not, I don't have this algorithm as of now.
And you may be knowing that, sir. In the northern Bangalore region, most of like, if we ask around like 10 random students, okay, from any school like Presidency, DPS, if we ask 10 students, at least 7 to 8 students know you.
Thank you so much. So that is the thing about, today's world. When you do something good, if you have a good product or a good service, news spreads fast, right? So past 6 7 years, Vivek, I can assure you, I have seen many kids and all sorts of kids. I mean, we have had kids, who entered with us at 90%. We have had kids who have entered us as 30%, right? The idea is, what I tell the parents is, for me, it does not matter whether your child is at 90% or a 30%, right? The only thing is that once a child comes to us, we dedicate our entire energy to ensure marks is not the first goal. The first goal is make sure the child falls in love with the subject. Whatever backlog you had, see, the reason why you're not performing is somewhere something would have gone wrong in earlier classes, right? So the idea is we do a thorough analysis with the child, sit with them, right? Understand what are the concepts you went wrong in earlier classes. We first teach them those concepts, slowly build the foundation, right? And that is when we start, and we tell the parent upfront that, see, if your aim is just for you to score, this is not the right place. I will, and I tell them the score which I will make your child will do, no one can give that score. But give me time. I never believe in pressurizing the child. I never believe in stressing the child. Right? It's a long life. Right?
Yes.
The idea is you have to first fall in love with the subject. Often, what happens in other institutes, other places is a lot of pressure. A common thing is, okay, if you're not good in math, that means you have to practice 100 questions every day. Right? That is not the right solution. If you don't know a concept, I can give you 100, 200, 500 questions, right? You'll still be struggling and you'll just be trying to figuring out what the concept is. Instead, sit with the child, explain the concept to them once nicely or twice nicely. They will automatically be able to do, and you don't have to do 100. And that's what I tell the parents. Often, parents complain that, sir, our child after joining you is not practicing much at home. So I said, he's performing, right? Well, yeah, the performance is very good. I'm saying, exactly. If the concept is taught right, you don't have to do 100 questions. The whole thing is you just have to solve that much to understand and apply the concept. So that is what we are famous for. That we teach the concept so well that you don't have to sit for 3 hours, 4 hours, just trying to figure out. Sit for half an hour, and we tell our kids study 1 hour every day, perform really well, and that is why they enjoy the subject.
Oh,
So that is why it is so famous.
I just forgot. I just wanted to mention a thing in the last question, but I don't know. You
Yes,
forgot. I forgot it. Now I remember it. So there you are saying about good teachers and bad teachers. I saw a movie called Hitchki of Rani Mukherjee, where she
correct.
says that there are no bad students. There are only bad teachers. And teachers, the students who are not performing good, I think so. It is the result of the teacher being bad, because most of the like if I say my favorite subject is maths, most probably the maths teacher in the school is awesome. uh,
Correct.
some people find English as their subject, some people find as like what you can we can say social studies. So human all, whenever we were in like fifth, 5 years old or 6 years old. We are all the same, but the interest we get, like I get my interest in maths, I get my interest in physics. Most probably it is because of the teacher. He made it so simple for me to understand. I fall I fell in love with that subject and it became my favorite. So if I'm not liking subject, maybe we cannot say teacher, we cannot judge anyone like good or bad. It was just a dialogue in the movie.
Correct. No, I completely agree. So, like I told you, if you go to a kindergarten, the energy level is very high. Every child wants to learn. They're very curious. You go to kindergarten and ask them, what do you want to become when you grow up? You'll hear pilot, astronaut, lawyer, I want to open my restaurant, and all those things. As you come above in the classes, you go to class 6th and 7th, there are few kids who will answer. By the time you reach class 10th, which is the most critical time when you have to decide, most of them don't have an ambition. The reason is that they're not able to figure out a way that, okay, I want to become a pilot or I want to become a lawyer, but how do I get there? Right? I'm bad at studies or they're not confident. So, saying that teachers are bad is also not the right thing. I mean, I feel that teachers put in a lot of effort for the students, and it's a very noble profession. I just feel that somewhere there should be teacher training programs, you
Yes.
know, wherein, teachers, I believe every school, right, or every institution should basically have a teacher training program where teachers see, as far as the content is concerned, I'm pretty sure every teacher knows the content, right? But the way you deliver that content is what sets you apart. See, with me and thousands of teachers out there, right? We all know maths, we all know science, right? It's not that I know something. I mean, maybe I know more tricks than them or anything, but at the end of the day, it is how you deliver the concept, right? So what I feel is that teachers should be given adequate training. And what I always say, one thing that sets me apart from everyone is a relationship I have with my students. I never have a typical teacher student relationship. I always try to be a student's best friend. you know you can speak to any of my students. I've taught so many of them. Ki, what do you think of Arship sir in one word? They will never say teacher, they'll always say buddy, best friend, cool friend. So the idea is that establish such a wonderful relationship with the child, so then they trust you, they can open about their doubts. And what I tell my students is, ki, don't just discuss academic things with me. That is one aspect of it. Even non-academic things, maybe, it could be something related to a relationship, it could be something related to teenage, it could be something related to peer pressure. Whatever it is, come to me, discuss with me, because sadly these are things which no one talks about, right? And
Yes,
then
sir.
one fine day, you find out your child is into something wrong, and then you start, punishing the child and getting, no. The idea is, from day one, give them that comfort, right? Give them that relationship where they can open up with you. Don't judge them. I always tell a child, I'm not here to judge you, I'm here to help you. The more you open up, the more I can help you, right? Typically when parents join, and I ask them that, just tell me about your child's performance, they're a bit shy. So I tell them, I said, see, because see, what happens in many institutes is, if a child is not performing well, they typically don't take that child. It's a sad story, but it's true, right? Because they don't want to put in extra effort. How will you cope up with the badge? You'll come on reputation, etc. I tell them, I said, see, don't worry at all. You don't know anything, tell me that. Sir, I don't know anything. No problem at all. We will teach you, right? I'm here. I tell them I have the entire maths content with me. I have the entire science content with me, right from where it starts in class 6 right up to class 12. We have everything. The entire library is here, right? You could be in class 10th. You don't know stuff. Starts from class 6. Not a problem. There is no harm. All I say is just open up, right? We do not believe in entrance test and all these things. No, no, no formality, nothing. Never have I done anything to make a child uncomfortable, right? Even here when we take test, yes, there are times when the kid does not perform. We have seen many bright kids also struggling, get stressed. That is what learning is all about. You are a student, it is a journey, right? You have to face the challenge. We'll teach you, right, how to face challenges, right? Because in life there'll be so many challenges you'll face. So it's not, I mean, being very good in academics does not mean that you can face any challenge, right? So the first
Yes.
thing you have to learn is that how to face a challenge. That challenge could be very small, as to a test coming up the next day and you're not prepared. It could be something very big, as a board exam or a competitive exam. Handle stress. Know your strengths. Know your weakness. And what we do here is we teach them how to convert your weakness to your strength, right? So academics is of course one thing, we take care of you, but we believe in the holistic development of the child, right? Make sure, see, no matter how well I teach them, in case the child is mentally stressed or is facing some mental trauma, will it go in his head? Will they be able to perform? The answer is no. Many
No.
times parents have come back to us, sir, child is very bright but not able to perform in school. So that's when I talked to them. I said, what happened? Many kids, they black out when they see the paper. They get stressed. They get stuck in a question. At the last moment, they're not able to recap everything. So this is what we teach them. We train them for every possible scenario out there. If you get a paper, you start sweating. Maybe that day you're having a fever. Maybe you're not able to recollect. How do you calm down? How do you meditate in the exam? How to go about a paper? Right? Because see, the thing is, difficulty level in India is extremely high, no doubt about it. And when the final 3 hour paper comes in front of you, yes, it can be very frightening for children, especially those who are scared of math and science. So the idea is remove that fear. Make the child believe, yes, I can do it. Come what may, I can do it. Right. And I always tell them, for me, your result does not matter. For me, it is the effort that matters. As long as you show me, sir, I've put in my 100%, never have I asked my children results. Never. I mean, that's a different story. They perform so well, they come and tell me, parents call me, sir, kid did very well. But I always tell them, keep for me, it is your effort, it is your journey, which is very important. If your effort is right, your journey is right, 100% you'll perform. And for any XYZ reason, even if you're not able to perform, come back here, come back to me. I mean, I have kids, now they're in colleges and all, who are still in touch with me. I tell them at any point in your life, you are ever stuck with any problem, feel free to reach out to me. Right? I'm always here. Right? So it's always about building that relationship. And that is what I feel teacher should be. It should not be a typical student teacher relationship. Good morning, ma'am. Goodbye, ma'am. No, no, no. With me, it's always hi, sir. What's up, sir? How's life? So the way that that should be the interaction in school. When you give them that kind of atmosphere, that is when they'll really blossom. They'll come up, ma'am, this is the doubt I have, or this is the problem I'm facing. Right? It become easier because teachers I've seen put in a lot of effort for children. Students also putting in a lot of effort, but somewhere it's not coming out, right? So I always advise all teachers, have a very nice relationship with your students. Hannah, make them comfortable, give the child comfort, the child will give you comfort. Children, if they respect you and they love you, they will go the extra mile to make you proud, right? They will definitely do that for you, right? Children are very sweet, very nice, right? See, it is, as a teacher, it is our responsibility to guide them and to mold them in the right way, right? So that is there. So as Rani Mukherjee said, that yes, there are no bad students. Absolutely right. I mean, every child that has come to me, in fact, we have had cases where parents have told that some children were aggressive also in the previous tuitions, and because of which discipline issues were there. But in the past 5 years which I've been teaching, not even once has any child ever even raised their voice here. Never. We have never faced any discipline issues, any aggression, never. Because the whole idea is we provide them with that kind of atmosphere where they're so happy, so cool, right? So it's all about that. Provide them with the right atmosphere, right resources, they will perform. But if somewhere something goes wrong, then I would say don't blame the child. I mean, of course, there are children who also don't study, right? It's not that. It's always the teacher's fault, right? But I always say that, see, it's a child at the end of the day, right? One should not get into a ego clash with the child or a competition with the child, right? Even if the child is not listening to you, right, is disrespecting you, don't immediately jump to conclusions, start punishing the child. No, maybe something has gone wrong somewhere. Try to understand what happened. Did you have a bad day? Right? Did something happen at home? Did something happen at school? Right? Try to investigate why the child is behaving, because see, I believe every child is very sweet, right? I mean, I love all children, so I always tell them that in case some, see, I mean, all of us have bad days, right? ठीक है, sometimes we feel because we have grown up, we have more problems than them. At every stage of life, we have our own set of problems, right?
Yes.
So always I believe, and that is why even when we start the class, before I say any doubts, I say any problems, right? First solve the problem, then we'll come to doubts. So academics is always a priority, but at the same time, back home and in the school, wherever the child is, that environment also should there should be no problems over there. right? So that is all about. So yeah, like I said, kids are kids, right? So you should treat them like kids, be nice,
Yeah.
friendly with them, and they'll always give you a lot of love and respect in return.
So we can make it in one phase according to you, that making the child enjoy the journey and the teaching. The result will just be a byproduct of his love with the
Absolutely,
teaching, with the subject
absolutely,
also.
absolutely, absolutely,
Shall we go on to the next question, sir, if you're fine with it?
absolutely. Please, please.
So what are some things that you have learned which are helping you right now to grow your business?
So, like I said, one is the relationship with the children and the parents. Have a one-on-one where the child is coming from, what the background has been, any issues faced, academic, non-academic, what are their hobbies, what do they love to do, right? So the idea is first to understand the kid in and out, right? Understand the parents, understand the parent-student relationship. There are parents who are very strict with the children. There are parents who are very lenient with the children, and their parents, who are in between. So that is also very important, right? Then what are the child's expectations, what are the parents expectations, right? Understand all those things. And then the idea is to build a relationship with the child in such a way that they're very comfortable with you, right? Because and then once you're comfortable, then you start motivating them to work hard, practice more, right? And then slow and steady. What I always tell the parent is, please don't expect an overnight miracle, right? Give the child, I always say, give me 3 to 4 months. In 3 to 4 months, I assure you, you'll see a drastic change in a child. And year on year, with thousands of kids, we have shown that every child who has joined has come out more confident, better results, right? And loves the subject. And I always say that is the most important thing. Because see, while I may be with you till class 12th, but you reach college, reach office, and learning never stops, right? So it's very important you be passionate about what you learn, what you do in life. That is what will keep you motivated. So that is one thing I've learned, which has really helped me to scale up, is my relationship and reputation with the children. Second thing is, of course, results. I ensure that results are top notch for every child. For that, we provide them with a lot of study material, lot of practice sheets, lot of sample papers, exhaustive testing, right, to ensure right from chapter wise test to small topic test to big test to 3 hour papers to subjective, objective, Olympiad test series, this test series. Extensive testing is done before the final exam. So we know for sure where you're lagging and we help you. And while we do have group classes, at the same time, for weak students, we provide free extra classes, right? That if in case you have any issues, and I've told to all my students that, evenings my door is open, feel free to walk in. Just walk in, tell me, sir, this is what I don't understand, we'll teach you again. It is once, twice, 10 times, no need to worry. Till you don't feel confident in it, we'll keep teaching you and providing you with resources. So results is something which is very important. uh, the rapport relationship with a child is something which is very important. So these are two things which are very important for scaling up for us. Results, so people, because ultimately, see, a teacher, right, or an academy is judged by the results you produce,
Yes.
right? So that is very important, right? So first they look at the results, and that is when they come to me, right? So first they see the results, top notch, then they come to me. That's when the child gets comfortable, right? And we make it a point that regularly be in touch with the parents, be in touch with the students. We regularly keep taking feedback from them. What you like, what you don't like. Is there something which more you want from our side? So that's a regular process. Not just with the students, but with the parents as well. So we want that everyone is happy, not just the student, but even the parents are happy. I mean, they should be
Just
at
to,
peace.
sorry to
Yes.
interrupt you, sir. So how regular is this meeting with the parents, and what are the things that you discuss with the parents according to the child's progress, or how is he doing, something like that?
So normally what happens is after the first week when you join, we have a call with you that how was your first week in tuitions? Were there any challenges you faced? How do you like the way of teaching, the atmosphere, resources? After that, we make it a point once at least every month, whenever the parent is free, right? So month on month, we keep updating them on the progress of the child, right? And we do have a quick catch up with them for 5-10 minutes. That is everything okay? Is the child happy? Are you happy? Right? Sometimes, in case a child is not able to perform or is coming under a lot of stress, or in case there's some other issue, we immediately contact the parent. Like for example, once what happened was a child got into a fight in school, right? Now he did not tell the parent, but he came and told me, so this is what happened, right? So that is the kind of comfort level they have. So that is when I immediately called the parent and I told them very clearly. I said, see, he has told me, right? I don't want you to, scold him or anything, right? I've heard the entire story, right? Just sit with him, understand what happened, right? And just calm him down a bit, right? हो जाता है. I mean, he was playing a football match. He
Yeah.
tackled me, so I tackled him, you know. And then,
उसने उसने
boys are
घुसा
boys,
मारा,
sports,
मैंने
right?
दो मारे.
Sports, sports, one can get a bit hyper.
Yes.
So I said, see, be a good sportsman, all right? It's okay to be a bit aggressive, but don't let that aggression get the better of you, right? I mean, I've been a football player also myself. I said, yes, it's not a gentleman's game, right? Obviously. But at the same time, what I tell him is that, see, you're playing, it's fine, but getting physically hurt, right, is one thing. You might hit someone, you don't know the intensity you're hitting, right? I said, and I advise all my students, whatever happens, do not get into a fight anywhere. Always try to resolve, be calm, because at a student level, yes, there are a lot of people to look into you, but later on in life, we have seen many cases, road rage and all those things where people get angry, discipline. So what I always tell them is, whenever you get aggressive, just breathe, leave it. Even if it's not your fault, just calm down, be the bigger person, just walk away. Just walk away. So that is one thing. Sometimes I've had kids who were facing a bit of mental stress due to relationship issues. It is teenage. These things are very common. So again, they did not discuss with the parents, discuss with me, right? So normally when such scenarios come, that is when I talk to the parents, and I make them understand that, see, this is what is happening. And I advise them also as to how to go about it. Do not just bluntly confront the kid. Why do you have a girlfriend? Why do you have a boyfriend? It's not the right thing. No, no. Talk to them. Make them understand in a nice way what is right, what is wrong, and guide them. So the idea is that, these are the kind of problems where immediately I try to address. So, like I said, mental peace is very, very important for the child. Academically, yes, we'll make you perform. Don't worry, it's going to be fun. But these are the kind of problems which are becoming more common these days. Then sometimes children getting into bad company, right? Having things they're not supposed to have at a young age, right? So whenever I find out, I always tell the child that, see, this is not good for you, not at all. And I try to inform the parent as well as soon as possible, but of course in a nice way. See, what happens is, typically if you find out that your kid is into something he should not be, the first reaction is you get very angry. So I tell
Yes.
them, I said, yes, it's normal for you to get angry. Of course, you should be angry, obviously. Right. But I said, see, you have to channelize that anger, right? If you just take it out on the kid, I said, till when will you control the kid, right? Someday or the other, he's going to go right to college or someplace. The idea is, understand how he got there, why he did that. I'm pretty sure you were told not to, why he did that. Right? It could be peer pressure, it could be something else, and let's get it resolved. And that is why recently also we onboarded a special counselor. So we have asked all our students that, you can always reach out to her. Her number is available 24/7. Please reach out to her. Please discuss with them. And we've also told them that the student and counselor discussion will also be confidential. So many students have this in them that, if I discuss something with a counselor, then she might tell my parents and then I'll get into trouble. So I told them, see, it's not like that, right? Discuss with the counselor, she will guide you. But yes, if there is certain things which your parents should know, we will inform them. But rest assured, we will do it in such a way that you will not, get into a lot of trouble which you're fearing that my parent might hit
Mm.
me or scold me. I said, don't worry, right? Because students have all kinds of problems. It's sad that teachers just look at the academic perspective. That is just one angle, right? I mean, there's so many things. See, if a student comes to me, they're with me typically for 1.5 2 hours a day, but you should worry about the remaining 22 hours, no? Where they are going,
Yes.
what they're doing, right? See, just creating a person who can score really good in academics is not just the right thing to do, right? If that person is not a good citizen, if that person is not a good person, right, it's no use, right? The idea is holistic development. So all efforts are being made to ensure that the child is at comfort, not just academically but psychologically, physically. Every effort is being made. In COVID times, I'll tell you, a lot of parents came back to me saying, I'm sorry, I'm a bit taking a lot of time of yours,
No issues,
right?
sir. It's
So
very knowledgeable for me. We will, if you
so
are free, we can continue it for longer time as well.
absolutely. So in COVID, a lot of parents came to me complaining that, sir, kids are not going down. Kids are putting on weight, and I've seen kids, who are very thin. Now, if you look at them, they're very bulky. They
Yeah.
don't listen to us. We're telling them, sir, go cycling, go swimming, go this swimming, of course, was called go cycling, take a walk. I mean, you can always do, but they were not doing it. So then we had a special session with all our children, and I told them, I said, see, kids, right, you have to go down, you have to exercise. It's very, very important, right? We told them, wear a mask, carry a sanitizer, right? Don't get into social things. Taking a walk, going for a jog, going cycling is something which is solo, right? You're not interacting with anyone, right? I said it's very important. And what we did was, so we told every child that every week you have to tell us what you did physically. Whether you played. Later on, slowly things started opening up. Go play a sport or jog or bike. So the idea is that everything we have to look at, right? And that is the comfort. Like I said, not only the children, I give parents also that comfort, that in case you have any issues, please feel free to reach out to us. you know so these are the various factors, which have played a very important role in our
Yes.
success,
We are
because this
actually
is
trying
something.
to implement, sir, the same things, like as you said, the holistic development of the child. Recently, I have found a few children, like they have problems, like some relationship problems will be there from the family, it can be there from the friends, and it hinders the student. Like if the
Absolutely.
student has some problem like that, I don't know how his thinking goes, and it is going to affect all the decisions whatever he is going to make in his life. So we are actually planning to put a counselor for a month, only one, means one-on-one counseling meeting for every month whoever the students are going to onboard with us. So
Very nice.
in
But
our
very much
model,
needed. Very much needed.
so that is the reason I asked you, like what do you ask in the I mean yours and the parents meeting, so just I can get some points and copy
Absolutely.
paste it.
So, I mean, academics, though, of course, is just one point of discussion, but I always make it a point that how are you? How are you doing in work? In COVID times, sadly, a lot of people lost their jobs. They had some financial issues, right? So, kids these days are very sensitive. They can see things, So, I told them that, see, you have to also make your child understand that, yes, it is very normal for these things to happen. It can happen to anyone in life. The important thing is teach them how to survive in that, right? See, what happens is when you're getting a monthly salary, your budget is planned, everything, EMI, everything is taken care of. Now suddenly if that salary goes, right, or let's say you get a reduction in it, right, obviously you're in trouble, right? So
Yes.
maybe you could not do everything which you're doing. So the important thing is make your child understand. One thing I've noticed these days, Vivek, is kids are very mature. They understand
Yes.
everything. You make them understand, they understand, right? So I told them, please inform your child, right, that there's nothing to, first of all, give them that comfort, there's nothing to worry about, right? I remember, having a child come to me, he's very depressed. So I just spoke to him one day, 2 day, he didn't say. Third day, he said, sir, actually, my father has suffered a major loss in business because of COVID. I said, okay. So I started talking. I said, what does your dad do? What was he doing? And then, I made him realize, I said, see, sweetheart, no need to worry. All right. I'm pretty sure your dad has taken this into account, right? He will take care, and don't worry. Very soon he'll, come back. Don't worry. What I would advise you is be more supportive towards your parent. Hannah, try to help them as much as you can, right? So they should feel at ease, because I'm pretty sure your dad and mom are in a lot of stress, right? So I told him that, counseled him. Then I informed the parents also. I said, see, your child can see that he's feeling a bit stressed. Please have a word with him, make him understand that everything is under control and he can take care, right? So these things are very important, Vivek. And it's good that children these days. And I always tell that, please expose the child to real life problems, right? Don't just keep them in a cocoon where everything is very nice, and suddenly when they go to college or they go to a job, it's a different world out there, and
Yes.
then they're clueless. And that is why then someone tells them something, they just believes it. And that's how the problem starts. I said, I like a lot of people, I tell the parents, uh, does your child know what you do? If I ask your child, What does your mom do? What does it? Can they give me a clear explanation? 90% of the time it's no. I said, why? If your child is in class 8th or ninth, I'm pretty sure you can explain to a child what you do, right? So I said, discuss what you do with your child, right? So they get an idea if you're a software engineer or you're a lawyer or you're a businessman, right? Whatever you're doing, discuss with your child. Na? What happens at work? So that way, what happens is every day when you're on the dining table, talk to each other. Let the parent discuss what happened at work. Let the child discuss what happened at school or tuition. I said this discussion is very important, right? Otherwise parents come in, sir, the child does not leave his phone, completely into phone glued. I said, see, you have to talk, right? I have never seen, with me I'm talking with a child and he picks up his phone and starts doing something. Never. If you're having a good conversation, they will. And see, we humans love to talk, we love to
Yes.
converse, right? We all look for good company, right? So I said, make that atmosphere at home now. And I always say, make sure talk with your child every day, even if it's just for what happened in school, tell me. What happened in tuitions, tell me. You went down to play, how was the match, right? Who did you beat? Build that rapport so the child, is talking with you. So when he enters or when she enters teenage, they should have that comfort that if something goes wrong, I can go and speak to my parents about it. They should have that rapport. But if you don't build that rapport, right, then where do they go? They'll probably go to their friends, right?
Yes.
Same age, so obviously they cannot get the right advice.
Yeah.
So that is very important. So it's very nice that you're getting a counselor, right? Very nice. Again, a very unique thing because no one has it, sadly, you know. So it's very nice you're getting it. Very important. Very
And this
important.
thing, so the things what you discuss right now is actually said by Sri Krishna in Mahabharata. So Sri Krishna,
Exactly.
yeah, Sri Krishna just asked a question. If we are standing in front of a mountain and we think, we make a lot of assumption, okay, I'll climb it like this, I'll go here, I'll when I go to 100 feet, I'll celebrate, or I'll just look down at the beauty and all. So he just asked the question like, how are you going to exactly climb the mountain, whether by thinking about it or by preparing and facing, means prepare. Like we will never know what problem are we going to face at the 200 feet, even at the 10th feet of the mountain. So being
Absolutely.
ready for whatever comes is actually going to help us out. Means he says that we get fear when we assume things of the future, like okay, ऐसा करूंगा तो ये होगा, ऐसा करूंगा तो ये होगा, और वो अगर नहीं होता है, if that doesn't happen, so and that fear, like if that doesn't happen then I'll get fear. अगर
Correct.
वैसा नहीं होगा तो मुझे डर लगने लग जाएगा. So he says that life's every moment should be filled with life. जीवन के हर समय, जीवन के हर पल को जीवन से भर देना है. So you have to just keep on preparing ourselves continuously, whatever comes. And sadly, like I have observed this, we means don't like to discuss negative things. Like if I have seen people, like when some death or tragic incident happens in the family, so people are not means prepared for that, to
Correct.
face that moment. And I have seen people go into depression, some actually get into alcoholism as well, and they're never able to come out of that. So there are many things we need to discuss, as you said, at the table. If the day has gone bad, you should explain your child that it has gone bad.
Correct.
Otherwise he will never know what will happen. And we don't know what happens actually tomorrow. I just wish and hope that everything goes well, but if it goes bad, the child should always know how to deal with it. Otherwise there
Correct.
are many things that will be distracted, and it takes a wrong turn, sir. So I'm
Absolutely.
really.
And you should also let your child do mistakes. So I'll tell you one very nice thing which my parents did with me ever since I was 6 or 7 years old. They told me, go out there and buy groceries or buy this, buy that, get this fixed and all. Obviously, as a child, you make mistakes, right? They told me it's fine. Make mistakes so that you learn. So ever since I was young, my parents always exposed me, to different situations. They discussed everything with me. So what happens is today they have played a very, very important role. I mean, whatever I am today, of course, it's thanks to them, the way they brought me up, right? So they always said, go out there, do it yourself, all right? Unless you do it yourself, you will never learn. You will make mistakes. It's absolutely fine. They have never scolded me for a mistake. I mean, yes, probably they sent me to get something, I got something else, right? Or I got less, I got more. Think, I mean, we all make mistakes, but they said, ki, yeah, sometimes I did not give the right instructions. There was a communication gap. So the good part is they made me learn all these things practically, right? So effective, I mean, see, you can have a workshop on effective communication is one thing, but going out there and doing it is a different thing,
Yes.
right? So that is very important. That's why I tell the parents that please discuss with your child, send them out, take a, let them do these household work. That is how they learn. It could be something as simple as going down and buying a packet of milk, or getting the groceries from somewhere, or something is not working in the house, getting someone from Urban Clap. Let them do it, right? Because when they do it, it's not just getting a person, it's the entire journey. Downloading an app, comparing the different prices, listening with the person, when will you come, how will you get it done, right? All these are very valuable life lessons, very very valuable life lessons. Teach your child financial wisdom at an early age. I've seen a lot of people, they get a salary, they don't know how to manage it. They get a credit card, बढ़ जाता है EMI, and they end up into all sorts of trouble. Why? It all starts at a young age. Teach your child the value of money. Teach your child how to compare, how to do basic household chores. Right? When your child gets a job, probably they're in a different city, they're living by themselves. Right? It's better they do it in front of you.
So now,
So,
as
like
we
I
are,
said,
yes,
financial wisdom is very important. So, just teach your children, do various things. If they make a mistake, it's fine. Just go about it.
and there is a data like there are many KBC winners like Kaun Banega Crorepati in India. Actually, after when the people got to them from Kaun Banega Crorepati, after 7 to 8 years, they were doing the same things what they were doing before winning crores of rupees as well. That is because the lack of financial literacy, which we don't teach our kids at
Correct.
the younger age. This was
Okay.
just a thing I just asked. I have a few kids from America, USA right now. So I asked a eighth grade kid, like his name is Falguna. So Falguna, what will you do if you find $1 million rupees? Then he said, yeah, I will just invest half of them in stocks. Some of them I'll keep them fixed, and I may buy a house. I may consider buying a house. So a eighth grade kid is saying that much. He's having that much knowledge. So I just asked him, where did you learn this? He said, we have classes occasionally, like teaching us about financial literacy. And I asked the same question in the eighth grader or 10th grader here in India. I just asked him, like, if you get 10 lakh rupees. So the question for him was 10 million, means $1 million. So it's 10 lakh dollars. And here it was 10 lakh rupees. So the first kid said, I'll go and give it to my mom and dad. First answer. And the next was like, I don't know. I don't know what will I do with that money. I'll buy a house. I should say, what will you get in 10 lakh rupees? So they are just clueless. Even our 10th graders,
Absolutely.
they don't
Absolutely.
have any financial literacy at all. So do you
It's
think
sad.
there is something, do you think there is something that we as teachers or tutors can introduce something for the students to learn about it occasionally
Absolutely.
once?
So what I do is basically profit and loss is something which comes up in class seventh.
Yes.
Uh, Compound interest, sales tax, and VAT comes up in class eighth. Now GST is there. Sadly, CBSE is still teaching sales tax VAT. It is there in ICSE. So typically, what I do is when I teach commercial math, I ask them that next time you go to a supermarket, please get me the bill. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens is if you go to supermarket, there's a MRP, then there's a discount price, then the final selling price and tax so sab rehta hai. And I say, please check for me manually. Now, obviously, it's from a calculator, right? I said, do that billing for me manually. So what happens is the moment they start doing it, so typically wo niche likha aata hai, your savings, right, in the total bill. I said, that is the best way to explain to a kid cost price, selling price, discount, and savings, right? And what I
Oh,
tell them is, right, when we do commercial math, so for example, compound interest, right? You can do it annually, semi-annually. Now, I asked the kid, I said, where is compound interest used? He did not know. I said, have you ever heard of a FD? What is a FD? Well, yeah, I once heard my parents talk about it, but I don't know what it means. I said, why did you not ask them? Right?
mm-hmm.
You should have that curiosity, right? So I told them it's a fixed deposit. That is compound interest. And I said, even if you deposit your money in the bank, typically it's compounded every quarter, right? So what I normally try to do is, I try to relate that whenever something of commercial math comes, right? I try to relate it to real life, and I ask them that you go shopping, or I said even if you go watch a movie, you buy something on Amazon or Flipkart, or you order something, keep the bill with you, make a nice folder, and you highlight. Take a bill or tum niche, you do the calculation. This was the cost price, selling price, discount, savings. So what happens is you teach them once. Next time when they go to supermarket, subconsciously they're doing the same thing. So automatically it gets ingrained in them. And then what happens is they start paying attention to the prices. Right. So, like you rightly said, they do not know what the cost of a house is. Right. But even very basic things. I once asked my kids, tell me how much does 1 kg flour come from or 1 kg tomato come from? They do not have an idea. I said, see, this is the problem. I said, why is it that your mother has to go and buy everything? Why can't you go and buy it downstairs only, right? So I told them, and I told the parents very clearly, I said, from now on, tell the child the list, let the child go, survey, and get it for you. Right? If you're ordering something online, let him do an online survey and let him show it to you. Okay, on this site, this site, this is the price, this site, this is the price, this site, this is the offer, right? And get it. I said, not only will it teach them math, but this particular habit will be useful to them the entire life. Kids don't know very basic, very basic. I mean, I'm surprised when kids do not know the basic prices of flour or vegetables or groceries. Ask them how much is a packet of milk. They did not know, but how much a Starbucks coffee is that they know. That is the sad part.
Yeah.
I said, so tell me one thing, right? Now you know the price of milk, right? And now you know the price of Starbucks coffee. So I hope you can relate, right?
Yes.
What a brand. And no, and I tell them, I said, see, this is what brand. And I teach them also. So they're like, sir, why is it so expensive? I said, this is known as brand here. And I always encourage my kids for entrepreneurship. I said, you also create a brand where you can charge 10 times for a certain thing because that is your brand power, right? I said, smartphones start for 5,000 also. You get an iPhone also. Take it. But I tell them there's always a long queue for an iPhone, despite it being so expensive. So I once had this very nice discussion with my children. I said, tell me one thing, guys. We all are big fans of iPhone. It is the most expensive phone out there, right? So, but still people are crowded. I said, why? Right? So that is what I say. It's all about brand value, value for money. Just like that, right? So I keep on having all these discussions with my children. Whenever there's an iPhone launch in September, many of my kids are awake in the night. They want to be the first ones. Next in the class, we'll have a whole discussion. They'll replay the entire presentation of Apple for me. So these are the features and this and that. These are the various options. I said, very good, guys. The idea is, please, the more knowledgeable you are, it's better. The more ignorant you are, the sadder it is. One common problem with kids, you must have noticed, they don't read newspapers.
Yes.
They don't, right? They just don't, right? So I encourage all my kids, please read. Even if it's just 5 minutes, to just read the headlines. Pick a section, could be a sports section, it could be a business section, it could be the front page. I said, pick anything. It takes 5 to 10 minutes while you're having your milk, right? Just read it. A lot of things you'll understand from the newspaper, right? You will
And
understand.
as you said, sir, as you want your kids to be entrepreneurs in the coming times, I mean, most of them, I also have the same feeling because our country needs entrepreneur the most at this moment, or at least in the 10 years. So any country whichever we have seen is developed has lots and lots of entrepreneurs in them. As I come from a village background, if there is a company, if an entrepreneur comes and opens his company in that area, literally the whole village lifestyle changes. Means
Absolutely.
if there is a company, like we can say 30 to 40 shops will be set around it, so at least 30 to 40 families are being benefited. The people from the village go to work there in the company, so the whole village, or at least 2 3 villages around that, are actually supported by that entrepreneur. So
Correct.
being an entrepreneur is a very noble job, and I actually also want my kids, my students, to be the best entrepreneur, like whatever they can give. Being an entrepreneur
Correct.
is the means, whichever field you go, if you are an entrepreneur, you are going to learn lots and lots of things, because it is like we call crash course, not a crash course. It's a big, huge course for the life. You keep on learning, you
Absolutely.
keep on learning, you keep on learning, and in the end of the day, you sometimes feel, oh, जिंदगी में कुछ अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है. It's like,
A lot of people, I mean, I have a lot of my friends, I mean, despite being at very highly paid jobs in MNCs, somewhere that, motivation is lagging, to wake up in the morning and, work that extra hour. And many times, they ask me that, how come, Arshab, you're working late at nights and everything. So I said, no, see, when you're an entrepreneur, you're your own boss, right? I mean, there's no one to tell me when to start work, when to stop, what to do. But it is the passion in you which drives you to push yourself every day, to be the best at what you are. So, yeah, I mean, there is no, I mean, I would not, switch my job for anything. This is something I love. I mean, teaching, being with the kids is something I love so much, that I feel that, my entire life is less for the kind of love and respect, this field gives you. So yeah, passion is very important. Of course, entrepreneurship has its own dark side as well. But yeah, it's very good.
So here we come to our next question, sir. What are the stakes that we have to keep when we have to become a tutorpreneur, like teaching entrepreneur or entrepreneur?
So what I've seen mainly in India, what happens is tutoring is something which a lot of people do as a part-time job, right? Especially college students and all. What I tell everyone is that when you're becoming a tutor, right, you are imparting education, which is the most important thing for a child. So don't do it for the heck of money. All right. First, be passionate about it. All right. Number two, do extensive research. Right. Knowing a subject is one thing, teaching is another. All right. So it's not that, okay, maybe someone is really good in math or someone is good in science, not necessarily they can be a very good teacher. Right. So I always say that in case you want to come in this field, right, in today's world, you can go to YouTube. There are a lot of videos available, right? Research that who are the top teachers, see their videos, right? See how they are teaching, study about the comments, see the comments which are coming. What is it that students want? Where are they lagging? Get yourself informed with the latest pattern. Like recently, now NEP has come into picture, right? So case study questions have come, objective questions have come. Familiarize yourself with them and try to be more modern in your teaching, not conventional. What I mean to say by being more modern is give more real life examples, things that kids can relate to. Give them more hands-on projects, right? Give them good material, right? And try to make the journey easy for them. It's very easy for me to teach a concept and say, okay, go to this book and do 100 questions from that, or do R.D. Sharma, do R.S. Agarwal. Slow and steady. Break it down into small steps for the child, na? Right? Small goals. Make small goals for the child. Okay, do 5 questions, then do 10 questions, then revise. Make notes. Right? These days kids don't write. They just read through it. Write, bacha, right? Show me, Hannah, improve your handwriting. Tell them how to write, how to make an answer, how to present it, right? So the idea is that be very passionate about teaching, all right? And please do your research, all right? Don't just teach the kid how to solve a question. That's not teaching. What the concept is, where it comes from, where can be applied, where it cannot be applied, if there are any shortcuts or tricks, right? All that. Give them a 360 view of the concept. That is when you're a true teacher, right? Just teaching them how to apply a formula and solving it is not teaching, as per me. That is not teaching. Sadly, that is what maximum people do, but that is not teaching, right?
Yes.
Maths is not about applying formulas, right? If it were that easy, right, then it would be a different ball game altogether, right? Please understand if
Yes.
the formula is there, where it is coming from, where it can be applied, where it cannot be applied, what are the different, and the best thing is what are the different ways of solving a question. I always encourage my students, think of different ways, right? Conventional method, we all know. Is there a better way of solving it? Is there a shorter way of solving it? Of course, then kids have this problem that, sir, will they get marks in school for this, right? Which is a true thing, right? So I tell them, I said, see, there are two aspects of it, right? Of course, you have to score, all right? You could be brilliant in math, right? But if you're not able to score, sadly, people will think you're bad in math, all right? So when I teach, normally what we make it a point is we do teach them the conventional method, what they have to do in school. But over and above, we do teach them different methods. I said, you should know this. The reason you should know this is when you think of different ways, it further improves your intelligence, right? So later on, when you in life, let's say go to engineering and all, that ability of yours will be your biggest strength. Right now, yes, it's very annoying for the child knowing a shorter way and not able to do it. I said, don't worry. Later on, the same thing is going to be a bigger strength, because that is something which is going to set you apart from everyone else. Because majority people would have come in the conventional way. They might not know how to think differently. You are able to think differently. And we have, and so many times, kids have told me various methods which even I didn't know. So that is the beauty of this profession, that I teach the kids also teach me stuff, right? So it's very fun, you know often they complain, so I often tell them, I said, why did you not tell this to your school teacher? Well, nahi sir, then she scolds me that no, no, don't do this my way.
Yeah.
So this is also a problem. Ego clash. I said, oh yeah, you tell me. I mean, see, despite all these years, right, but still I'm always open to new methods. I said, very good. I mean, I never judge a kid ki I don't have that ki, oh no, I'm your teacher, or I'm more experienced or more qualified. So it has to be my way. I said, no, as long as it is mathematically correct, please go ahead. So many
Yes.
times, Vivek, I've actually called up schools, teachers that, ma'am, this is the right answer. What is wrong? So there are certain tricks I teach the kid. I remember teaching a concept to a class ninth kid, which comes in class 11th, right? So of course the child understood it and it's very easy, and they applied it in their physics paper and the teacher put a zero. So the student came, sir, आपने बोला था sir वो zero मिल गया 5 में से. So I called up the parent. I said, I would like to speak with the teacher. I called up the teacher. I said, ma'am, why is it wrong? उसने बोला, it's not a ninth method. I said, is it right? She said yes. I said, then what is the problem? If a class 9 child can successfully do a class 11 method, I feel instead of 5, you should give him 6 marks
Yes.
than the other way around. You should encourage him that yes, he has done something which is higher than his level. He has successfully applied it. So, why penalize him, right? So, this is the change we have to bring about, right? Stop penalizing a kid, right, for going out of the way doing something unconventional. If they're doing it, appreciate it. So other
And
that
empower
is when
them.
you motivate them. Empower karo aap unko, right? Typically, and that is why kids are very scared of their teachers. Very rarely have I seen kids appreciate their teachers. Very rarely.
Yeah.
They
They
scold
don't
me, they
really
punish me.
appreciate. They
Ah,
punish
so they
like,
have just one goal in mind, sir. What is the way to score 100? Tell me that way. I said, don't worry. See, that should not be your goal in life. ठीक है? I will teach you how to score 100. ठीक है? Much simpler than what you may think. But you have to be in the entire journey. Right? In the beginning of the class, I always teach them the conventional method and all. Only towards the end, I tell them the shortcut. Then they often ask, sir, why did you not tell us the shortcut in the beginning? I said, you can only appreciate a shortcut if you know the
well,
conventional
if
method.
you know the
Number
long
one.
process.
Correct.
Yes.
And number two, this is what you have to do in school. You can use the shortcut to verify your answer. You can use the shortcut in a competitive exam or an MCQ exam, but you need to know everything. Right. So,
Yes.
like I always give them this example, when you play a cricket match, right, your batting style has to change as per the number of overs or the target, right? So, that is what I tell them. I said, see, if time is less for you, that is when the shortcuts come into picture. If time is less and you have to solve it, then use this, right? If you have ample time, use this. This is safe. This is not safe. Use it. So all those scenarios are taught, and that is why they enjoy. So that is why when they go for an exam, they are so well versed. Come what may, it's a long paper, short paper, tough paper, easy paper. We know how to do it. So we have to give them that, training. Is
You
this
have to make
clear?
them prepared for anything that comes.
Correct, correct.
And sir, the next question is like, have you done any mistakes in your journey that you regret now in the tutoring field?
See, the only mistake I would see is that I went online on Zoom just last year. I feel that is something I could have done long time back. So I think
Yes.
going online is something I could have done long ago. So it would have helped me to reach out to more kids, which I'm now able to reach out to. So yeah, I mean, a lot of kids, their elder siblings called me, sir, you could have done Zoom earlier, we could have benefited. So yeah, that is something which I feel I should have done much earlier. I should have gone online much earlier, and
Yes,
start taking class.
and agreeing with you, I was like running away. If someone says technology, I'll just turn back and run away. So just before the means COVID hit, there was no other option but to embrace online learning for me at least. So we started taking Zoom, and it really turned the game. Like online teaching
Absolutely,
really turns the game. If now we are actually tutoring students from different countries where
absolutely.
we were like I was literally very struggling initially, as you know. You have known me from my journey, I guess. So it really was very frustrating not getting students from here, and suddenly I get a call. Oh, you have a student from US. So this all came in picture because of the online learning. So I completely agree with you, sir, and I also wish I would have at least started this
Hmm.
online learning before 2 3 years at least.
Correct, correct,
Anything else,
correct.
sir? Anything else would you like to some any other mistake that has
Uh,
helped you grow in your business, like you must have made them correct
so,
and go.
so yeah, I mean, that was one thing. The second thing is, testing has always been a big challenge, especially when you scale, you
Mhm.
know, and the problems which I face over here is that while you could have one class, but from different schools, they have different chapters, so testing them. So now recently, we have purchased our own testing platform.
Mhm.
Right. So now it has been much easier for us. It's automated platform where we create the test for the kids. They can give it, check the solution, reports, and everything. So again, I feel that that is something I could have developed earlier. Right. Would have saved a lot of time and effort for me again.
Yes, yes. So
These are two
now,
things I believe I should have done earlier.
yes, sir.
Hmm.
So then we come to the next question. What were the initial reactions from your clients and colleagues when you started your tutorpreneurship journey? I'm very interested
Oh,
to know
so,
this at this
so it
moment.
was it was very challenging, Vivek, because if you go back 4 years in time, and I told people that I have a very different model of teaching where the kid would come and he learn on a tab. So they're very skeptical to it. That how a kid is not able to learn from a live human, and you're saying on a tab, how will they watch a video and do it? So they were very skeptical about it. I would spend at least 45 minutes to 1 hour with every parent. I would visit their house. I gave a lot of free trials. I said, you know what, it's completely free. Come try it out. Only if you like it, we pay for it, else, no charges. So yeah, initially, there was a lot of resistance. But once the child came and experienced it for himself or herself, they were super happy. They're like, wow, everything is there. I can watch it at my own pace. It's completely in sync with my school. And sir has taught everything so nicely, and there's so many questions answers sir has done. I was honestly breaking my head. There's so many things I did not know. So yeah, once the children started coming, then slowly the word spread, right? That no, this is actually a much better way than the conventional way. Of course, I mean, we have a hybrid system where we teach them physically also, right? But majority part, they learn from the tab, they learn from the content we have prepared. So initially, yes, beginning it's of course very difficult, but once the child comes, then it was very easy. And now though it's very simple. Now though I just get a call that sir, when can we join? No questions asked. Pehle, earlier people would ask me, okay, what are your qualifications? What are your results? How do you teach? This happens. What? So it was like a proper interview, which I used to give every day, which is fine. And see, I said it's absolutely fine because every parent has the right, to know who the tutor is, what the qualifications are, where you're sending your child. So I said, no worries. I would answer all the questions. Now it has reduced. So now no longer interviews. Now our results and reputation speak for themselves. So now
Mhm.
it's just a simple call that, sir, I got your number from so and so. Please, can you admit my child? I'm like, of course, ma'am. Whenever you want, you know, that is this. Yeah, it's been a long journey. It's been so initially in any business, Vivek, initially you have to put in a lot of effort for establishing a brand, right? It may take a lifetime, it may take a few days. That completely depends. But initially, yes, it was very difficult convincing the parents. So typically, I had to wait almost 6 months when the result finally came out. And when people actually saw the result, I remember the initial students which I had. Lucky for me, actually, now when I look back, they were very poor performers in maths and science, right? And when they did exceptionally well, that is when parents realize that if these kids can go from here to here in 6 months, that means something is there, some magic is there, right? So yeah, that is how it started. And for, like I said, for an academy, people judge you basically by your results, right? So lucky for us, year on year we have had the best results. In fact, every school's topper, if you name it in North Bangalore, has been our student. So that's why the word is spreading fast, but it's initially it's very tough to convince, because the moment you do something different from the league, right, people are not that welcoming.
It's no,
So yeah, you have
they
to.
take time to accept everything. So next question, sir. Did you ever feel giving up in the initial days? Did you ever have that feeling?
Initial days were very tough, Vivek. I remember when I would research and try to create the videos, right? So it takes a lot of time to make the videos, and it's very difficult also. See, unlike the ones which are available on platforms on YouTube where a person is just teaching, my videos are very different. You know, every video is related to the previous and the next. It has to be very slow, very nicely written, very well presented. So it takes a lot of time and effort, to make it. Many times you have to do 5 to 6 times the same video. So yes, it is very challenging. You do have your bad days. You might create the whole content and then you give it to a child and the child says, Ki, didn't like it, didn't enjoy it. Well, you have put in hours of effort. But then, see, it's not about giving up because, uh, like I said, that dream is there in me, that come what may, no matter how hard I have to work, how many hours I have to work, I have to create the system which is the best one out there and it has to reach to every child, right? So obviously it's a very very challenging task, right? So yes, I've had my share of bad days. There have been a lot of time I've been very depressed at times, very sad. It's not because, see, like you mentioned that example of the mountain, that okay, when this happens I'll do that, but if it does not happen, then what do you do? So you could make a lot of videos. I remember in science making a lot of videos, put in a lot of effort, a lot of research, but when we went for the final testing with children, we didn't get, I mean, they liked the videos, but that joy was not there. So
The
that's
final
what I
aha
always say.
moment was not there. The aha
I mean,
moment
so
was
that's
not
what I said. Unless the child says, "Sir, this is awesome," we don't go ahead with the video. We'll shoot it again. It has to be, that awesomeness has to be there in every video. So yeah, went back, discussed with the children, discussed with subject matter experts. What do we need to do, to fix this? Reshot everything. So yeah, a lot of effort goes. So yeah, these are the times when you do feel a bit depressed, but it's part of everything. I mean, you make a product, you test it out, didn't like it, consumer does not like it, you build it again. So never felt like giving up, and never will I ever give up also, come what may, right? Because this is something which I love to do. I do this day in, day out, right? I mean, I don't, for me, people often, I've never taken a leave, right? Even when I got married, that day also, I was on my phone solving doubts. So that is the kind of commitment I have for all my students. Because people have asked, I mean, you don't take a break. I said, see, for me, the work I do, I enjoy it so much, I don't need a break. People take a break because they want to enjoy, right? I said, for me, my work is enjoyment, being with the kids. I remember when COVID struck, for 10 days, we did not have classes. And I would say that was the worst time for me because I'm so used to meeting kids every day, teaching them. I felt very incomplete. So I remember 17 March was the last day. We had tuitions in this academy, and then 27 March is when we started on Zoom. But those 10 days in between was very, difficult for me mentally because I was so used to, okay, in the evening, kids are going to come, going to teach them this, you're going to have this, that. So, yeah, that is there. But no, no, never, never, ever give up. It's been a tough journey, I can assure you. And I feel that there's still many, many huge challenges ahead of me, right? Because to scale this up, yes, it's very difficult. But yeah, never, never give up. Never. I
I
have
hope
that
I'm
in me.
not.
Never give up attitude.
That's a very good feeling, sir. And the teacher like you can instill that in your students as well, because when you have that attitude, I'm pretty much sure that it will be passed to your students as well. So
Hopefully.
I hope I'm not taking you much time. I
Not
just
at
have
all.
3 to
Please.
4 more questions.
Not at all. Please, Vivek, please continue. Please continue.
So how do you think is a good team important for the entrepreneurship, sir?
See, what I would say is that first, one should do the research and the process him or herself, right? Don't open an academy and start hiring people and teaching for you, right? First, you should be passionate about it, right? For the first 4 years, I didn't hire anyone. I did everything myself. Research, execution, making the test papers, checking it, interaction, and everything. Do it yourself. When you feel that there are things you cannot do or you're not good at after trying it, that's when you start hiring people, right? So the thing is, as a founder, you should know how everything works. Because see, even if you want to hire a person, at least you should have the knowledge to know what to look in that person for. Don't end up hiring a person. If you could not do it and you hire a person like that, again, he'll also not be able to do it. Right. So having a good team is very, very important because yes, when one scales, right, you need a team to take care. Number two, uh, everyone is not good at everything, right? You may be good at one thing, someone might be good at another thing. So the idea is that choose your team in such a way, right, that as a whole you're very strong, right? Whatever are your weak points, they are covered by your team, right? So team is definitely important, right? And one should also be a good team player. And I've had a lot of teachers and a lot of interns, and one thing I always tell them is that please never consider me as your boss. We do not believe in a vertical hierarchy, we believe in a horizontal hierarchy. I said, so I always tell people, you never work for me, you work with me, right? There's a difference when you work for someone, when you work with someone. So I've told all the people who work for me, right? It could be fellow teachers, it could be, the IT team, it could be the examination team, anyone for that matter, right? It could be our digital marketing team. I tell them, see guys, we're in this together. All right. So, right, never think of me as a boss. And I've always given, and I do not believe in micromanagement. I tell them, this is your job, this is what you have to do. In case you have issue, let me know. Right. I leave it up to them. Right. Beginning, yes, I do a very thorough screening of the person, ensure that they're the best person out there for the job. And then I leave it to them. Because you have to have faith in your team. Right. Unless you have faith in your team and they have faith in you, it will never work, right? So give them that faith, give them the opportunity. I always tell them, if there's something you want to do new, please go ahead. If you ever want to leave or anything, I have never stopped anyone. I don't keep a tab on the leaves my employees take. I don't keep a tab, on kya nahi. It's simple. I do keep on taking feedback from the kids though, right? That how are you finding ma'am, how are you finding sir, right? Any issues? So it's both ways. With the teacher, are you okay? Any help you need, any comfort? So like my relationship with my students, same is relationship with my employees. I said it's not just a boss, employee. It's not just a, we have a very, I said we are one big family, right? So even if I'm interacting with my fellow, employees, you will never feel he's the owner or she's the owner. The idea is you should not be able to figure out who's the owner. That is the
Yep.
kind of atmosphere I believe in. We are all in it together. We are all a team, right? So we have to help out each other to make the big picture come true, right? So good team is very important, but with a good team, like I said, treat them like family. Always empower them, always help them out, right? During COVID times also, right? When everywhere there were salary cuts, we gave a hike to all our employees. Why? I said, no, this is COVID times. I know you're more stressed, you're working hard. I took a cut from my salary. I said, no, I don't mind taking a cut, but I want you to be happy. I want you to be comfortable. All right. So, and see, employees always give back, right? Because of these things, they also love me and they put in double efforts, right? So I always say, please take care of your employees, have a good team, be a family, right? And trust me, you'll go places because employee team is very good. People often complain ki, poaching and hiring. I can assure you, without naming people, people have tried to poach my employees, but we have zero attrition till date. Students may zero attrition, employees may zero attrition. Anyone who has worked with me will never leave me. Not now, never in the future. Because, and I often ask them, I said, you were getting more money and all. They said, no, it's not about money, Arship. It's about the way you treat us. You treat us like family. You take care, so good care of us. So that is what is important. Hire a good team to overcome your difficulties, but treat them like family. I always say that. Never like an employee.
So we are, that's a very great answer, sir. We are actually planning to hire interns now. So for interns for teaching. So would you like to give me some suggestions like what should I look while I am hiring them for the tutoring, home tutoring or
Sure.
something like
So
that?
whenever you hire a person for tutoring, right, the first and the most important thing is how passionate about are they about their job. So upfront, I asked a person, I said, why are you applying for this job? Now, some of them are a bit smart. No, sir, I'm passionate, this, that. I said, see, if you're applying for the money, tell me upfront. Be honest with me. I want it for the money. No worries. Right? Obviously, that's why we all do a job. Right? The thing which I look for in a teacher is number one, passion. Number two, what is the command do you have over the subject? Right? When we say command over the subject, give them a question, ask them first to solve it, next ask them to explain it, and then tell me another way by which you can solve this. Right? So, do they have the ability to think differently? Because only if they have the ability to think differently can they teach your students to think differently. Otherwise, we are back to the normal. This is the formula. This is the question. Apply and done. right? So whenever you hire a teacher, look for their passion, look for their command over the subject, right? And see what is the kind of relationship they have towards students. Try to hire teachers which have a friendly relationship with the students. The more strict they are, the more they treat the kids, very aggressively, it will never work out. You could be the best teacher in the world, you could have very good knowledge, but if the student and your relationship is not right, the flow will not happen. It's as simple as that, right? At the end of the day, how do we judge ourselves? Okay, I taught a class of 50 kids and I give them a test. What did they perform? Right? So the important thing is, while you could tell them the best method out there in a very nice way, but the relationship. So look for passion, look for command over the subject, and how they treat kids. Very, very important. Always tell them, even if they come from a background where they were very disciplined and all, say with with even with my teachers whom I employ, I tell them, see, you could have been a very strict teacher your entire life, but with my children, right? I always call my students as my children, you know. So I say, with my children, you have to be very sweet. Come what may, you come and discuss with me, but never ever shout at them, never ever punish them, whatever may be the cause. Like I assure you, they will never do anything to disappoint you. That is the love they have. But if something is happening, try to solve it or come to me. So always tell them these three things: passion, command, treat kids nicely, and they'll do really well. And keep researching. Keep researching. That is very important in today's world.
That's a very helpful one, sir. I'll surely apply that. And can you please let us know that what you are up to now and what are your goals for the next coming 3 to 5 years?
So basically, like I said, initially when I started the system, the aim was just to make maths content for schools. Now, thanks to the good feedback and motivation, we are developing content right from class 6 to 12th for maths and science. So the idea is that I'll try to complete that content, and then eventually we're going to launch the system online, so anyone anywhere in the world can access this content, right? At the heart of the system, of course, I'll be using my knowledge of artificial intelligence to create an engine which can actually guide the children as to, so what I do over here physically, the engine will do with the website. They will guide the child, okay, watch this video, then do this question. If you're not able to do this, that's the whole idea. So the idea is to come up with a smart education system, right? Not just you just throw some videos and some questions and you're done. No, no, that's what. So again, coming back to your question, how are we different from the unicorns? Again, that is how we are different, because quality, quantity, and the engine, the algorithms which we'll be using, right? We'll be able to guide the child at every stage, right? How smoothly they can complete, help the child out. So the idea is to complete the content, bring it online, and then reach out to as many kids as possible to access that content.
That's great, sir. And my last question, I guess, what is something that you would like to advise a new tutor who wants to join tutoring, or there is someone who wants to get into tutoring business, open his own center? So what is something that you would like to tell them? Like the answer can be long or short according to
So
you.
the first thing, what I'll tell them is that it's an amazing job. All right, the love and respect which you get with the kids, you always feel young. When you're around them, they teach you so many good things. The first thing is that you should be very passionate about teaching. All right, uh, you should really love children. All right, I mean, if you don't like kids, I mean, don't come, because see, now things are different. If you try to be very strict with children, they'll not like you. They don't like you, they'll not open up about doubts, and eventually they'll leave you. Right? That's not the idea. Be passionate about teaching. Be very, very patient with children. Right? See, children are children. Sometimes they get things, sometimes you might have explained it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Be ready for that. All right. And every time you explain, it should be with the same enthusiasm and the same passion. Don't get irritated. All right, ki, why is it not happening? Can't you understand this? No, no, no. You have to train your mind to be very patient, because the day you scold a child once, they will never come back to you again. So be extremely patient with them, be passionate, and do your research before your class. Before you take a lecture, before you take a class, research whatever topic you're teaching. What is the best way to teach this? What are the common doubts children have? What are the kind of question asked in the exam? I'll tell you a fact: the the question which are asked in the exams versus the questions given in textbook, there's a big gap. So while many teachers might feel that, okay, we have completed the textbook successfully, the kid will perform, it will not happen. I have spent so many hours in research of all those questions which is missing. And that is then the study material which you provide. So it's like textbook you have to do and then the study material. And that's why kids come back here. So all the questions came from your study material. I said, yes, I know. Right? Be passionate, be patient, right? Do your research, right? And don't be in it just for the money. That should not be the sole motivation, right? Someone might say, okay, this guy runs an academy, he's doing so well and all. See, in every profession, people who are doing well earn a lot of money. But the thing is, be passionate. And this particular profession, I can assure you, is very nice, very fun, right? I mean, I left my corporate job and I would never go back to any corporate job, right? I love this profession so much, right? It's a lot of fun, but please be passionate, be patient, all right? Learn to gel with the kids, understand their problems. And like I said, don't just focus on the academic part. Be a buddy to them, be a friend, be a mentor to them, right? That is when you'll truly appreciate, and they will truly appreciate you, right? Because the bond, see, kids give you a lot of love and respect. It's pure love and respect, right? I mean, it's not a materialistic thing, right? So and I always say that, respect is something, love is something, it can only be earned. So this is one profession where you get a lot of it. So if in your life you want a lot of love and respect, this is the profession to be in. This is a profession to be in.
I hope this will surely motivate many of the tutors and tutorpreneurs, the budding tutorpreneurs, to get into the
Absolutely.
business.
No, it is
And
much better than a corporate job than, someone telling you targets, and you have to then have your appraisals and your performance goals and all this thing. Nothing is here. It's just you and the child. You're sitting together on a table, working out sums, teaching them, have a nice, fun interaction with them about, could be about movies, it could be about sports. You'll be very relaxed in this profession. I can assure you. Be relaxed, have a good time, So, like often sports players are saying, now go out there and play your natural game. This is one profession where be natural. You don't have to dress up every day in formals and wear a suit, commute. Aram say, be at home, be nice. Kids will come to you, sit with them, talk with them, teach them. You will truly enjoy this job. I mean, once you have, and what I feel is the more the merrier. Initially, I'll tell you a common problem which tutors have is you might get one kid from sixth, one from eighth, two from ninth, right? A common mistake, teaching them together. Don't do that. I know it's a lot of effort. Teach them separately, right? When I started, right, I would have one kid from each class. I would still spend 4 hours, 1 hour with every child, instead of making them sit on a table and try to just teach them what's all. No, be patient, right? Spend time with the kids, right? Trust me, you'll grow. But if you try to be too fast and you want instant results, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. The kid might perform, but if you don't instill that love for the subject, it will never work out. That is what is required now. That's how you set yourself different from the others.
the things you have said now, sir, I actually tried it doing before a year and a half, I guess. There was some like I had two students from 10th, a third student joined from 10th standard. Then there was a parent requested this sibling of the same student. So they just said, okay, the student is in 7th or 8th. He was in 7th, I guess. So can you also teach him? I said, okay, yeah, extra money for the same time of work. So I just said, okay, he can join the class as well. And I will teach him in between. Like I'm not going to teach him completely. He can solve his homework with me, and if in between he has doubts, he can ask me. But what actually happened after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, okay, till first 2 weeks it went okay. But when the student was asking doubts, I was in some other link with the 10th standard students. Like we get actually so much
Immersed in it, correct.
immersed in it that we forget everything around, whatever is there, whatever is not there. Then it just felt like, oh, I was just going to tell my student something very important, and he's saying, sir, I have a doubt. it just
Correct, correct.
it just messes up everything. So eventually I did that mistake and I learned it from that thing. But as Ashap sir is saying, everyone, all the tutorpreneurs, please do not do it. If it is, even if it is taking much time, the other, keep means try to keep the students according to their grades separately. You can mix two 10th grader from the same syllabus, but mixing a ninth and a 10th grader together, it's going to be not beneficial. It's not going to be beneficial for anyone, not for you, not
And
for
one other common mistake Vivek, people make is they even tend to mix CBSE and ICSE kids. Don't do that as well, because ICSE and CBSE also have different syllabus, right? So class 10th we have different CBSE batch, different ICSE batch. So please don't mix kids, right? It might save you a bit of time, but it's a lot of difficulty for the child. I always say put the child first, put the child's comfort first, right? That is the key to success. Make the child comfortable. You will feel a bit of discomfort, but in the long run it's going to pay back to you, right? So it's always good
So the
to do that.
students who are listening to us, those who want to join you in the learning process, how can they contact you? I'll give you
uh,
the details in the description as well. Can you please let us know about?
Absolutely. So you can just mention my mobile number, right?
Yes.
And you can provide my email ID. So in case anyone wants to join, right, you are more than welcome, right? Vivek will share my mobile number and my email. So you can just give me a call, drop me a WhatsApp message, or just drop me an email, right? And we will call you immediately. Within 24 hours, you'll get a response from us. I can assure you that, right? And the journey with us will be something you'll never forget in your life. I can assure you that. Very, very different from what you have seen and heard about other institutes.
And folks, just to tell you that I have also been learning from Ashap sir lots of things. I being a tutor, personally, I am learning a lot of things from him. So his assurance, I can double it. Like you are going to enjoy everything, whatever he's going to teach you. So all the students who want to join Ashap sir's academy, I'll just put everything in the description below, in the comment, in the description section, and you can just go there, connect to him, and it will be an enjoyable journey. So keep learning, enjoy the journey. Results will just be a byproduct. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
Vivek, for this opportunity. And thank you so much for always being there for this lovely, relationship we have. Thanks a ton, Hannah. And
Yes.
have a great day and wish you all the best. Right. May you
Thank you so
also
much.
achieve a lot of success in life. Right. And Baki, to I'm always there in case you need anything.
Sure, 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 sir.